Hi, everybody. Welcome to our first occupational therapy Instagram Live. My name is Sarah Schumacher. I'm one of the assistant directors of admissions here at Solace University. And with me is, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Marissa Gordino. I am a second year MSOT student here at Salis, and I am a grad assistant for the admissions office.
So we're here to answer any kind of questions that you have about our admissions process or ask any questions that you have for our student experience here at Solace. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment box and I will keep track of them and ask Marissa any questions that you have in regards to the student experience. So Marissa, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you go to undergrad and what did you originally study? Why OT?
Sure. I went to my undergrad at University of Scranton, in Pennsylvania. I actually was a business major, so I made a complete 180 switch. Um, and I ended up in OT. I knew I wanted to help people. I had no idea what that meant. I shadowed a couple OTs, and that kind of landed me on the OT path. I really liked the creativeness of OT and all that stuff. And then I ended up at Salis because I was looking in the Pennsylvania area. Really, I was looking in major cities where I could get a lot of exposure to different fieldwork opportunities. So Salis is a great option for that. I also ended up at Salis just because I love the mutual mindset of students here. It's a fully graduate program. And it's all healthcare programs. So we all kind of have like a collective mindset of like wanting to help people, which I really love. And everyone's here because they want to be, like it's a graduate school. So everyone's choosing to go back to school and all that stuff. So yeah, I really love the location and the people.
How long is the program? Are you pretty much in school full time, or do you have times like is it more like in the mornings, more in the evenings? Do you have breaks?
So it's a 2-year program, and I would say our days are usually like 9 a.m. to 3 or 4 p.m. depending on the day. So it kind of resembles like a typical work day, 9 to 5, which works out really great. There are no night classes. There will occasionally be like an asynchronous course, but that's just things you can do on your own time when it works best for you. And I would say I spend most of my day on campus, and then I get home at about 5, and then I'm kind of working on group projects or studying with my roommates or something like that. So that's like typical day. Yeah.
Do you spend most of your time in lectures, or are you also observing or out in the field observing?
Sure. Yeah. So, a lot of our classes, so the way the program is structured, just to give a quick rundown of the overview of the 2 years. So your first semester starts as just like fundamental courses, foundations courses. So before you get too far into OT, you'll take your anatomy and kinesiology, you'll take your physiology, and you'll take like foundations of OT and theories. That one, we only had one lab and it was mainly all lecture. The only lab class was for kinesiology, where you worked on manual muscle testing and goniometry. So that was only a small part of that semester. The second through last semester, I guess, didactic semesters, you follow like a peds semester, an adult semester, and a geriatric semester. And each of those semesters do have labs and lectures for that specific content. So I would say maybe like 25 to 50% is lab, and the rest is lecture.
Sorry, my cat just walked right in front of me. And I was wondering what you're going to do, so I stalled a little bit. So what is your fieldwork experience? What are they like?
So oh, sorry, what were you saying?
The ones that you've had so far.
Yeah. So just to say how fieldwork is laid out. So our fieldwork experiences, you have 3 level 1 fieldworks, which is a 1-week long fieldwork experience. And those take place your first spring semester, your summer semester, and your second fall semester. And then you have 2 level 2 fieldworks, which are a 12-week fieldwork experience. Those two take place during your last spring semester where you'll be doing fieldwork full time. So I haven't reached those yet. I'm currently in the my last fall semester. I did complete my last level one. So my 3 level one experiences were, my first one was a community-based one, which basically means that I was really there to interact with the community versus work with an OT, because there was no OT on staff. The nice thing about that, though, is you kind of had the pressure off of like working with the OT right from the start, even though I had my OT hat on. So I was being able to think of interventions for the clients without actually having to put them into play yet. So that was really great, just to understand the population that I was working with. And that was at a Jewish community center. So it was like an adult day program for those with like intellectual disabilities and various conditions. And then my second one was in a hospital, so it was acute care. And I got to see a bunch of different things there, which was really cool. I got to see some, I mainly worked on the, not the trauma floor, the neuro floor, where I got to see a bunch of stroke patients. But then I also got to step into the neurocritical care, the trauma floor. I got to go to some pediatric units, and I got to go to the NICU. So that was really great, being able to see how OT works in a hospital, because it's very different from other settings. It's very fast paced. And then my last one was at a school. It was at a special education school in Allentown. And there I got to work on a lot of school-based stuff. So I got to do the typical handwriting, behavior, sensory stuff that you would normally work on in a school. But then I also got to do some other ADLs. Like I got to work on dressing, and I got to work on feeding and other stuff like that. So that was really cool. And then my first level 2, I got it. Haven't started yet, but my first level 2 is going to be in early intervention. So yeah, that's exciting.
What has been your favorite class so far?
Ooh, I hope my professors don't see this. um, um, I really liked um, our adult theory and practice class. That's where you go over a lot of the interventions that you would use working with adults. I really enjoyed that, because that was our first time really. Well, first of all, I think I want to work with adults, so that might be a clue into why I enjoyed it so much. But we kind of did a lot of case studies with various clinical conditions, so we got to see that, and then developing different interventions for different conditions, which was really cool. And then being in the lab, that was the most time we spent in the lab, I think, working on transfers, working on dressing, working on kitchen stuff, just various things like that. That was really cool to see, because we would do like case studies there. So we were each like given we all like drew a card and basically had to work with our lab partner on how we would treat that patient, basically. So that was really cool.
What are you looking forward to the upcoming semester?
Ooh. I don't think I've been given these questions yet, Tara. Now you're stumping me. I think I am looking forward to putting everything I've done into practice while also still having someone to hold my hand, kind of thing. Because I will obviously be supervised. But from my understanding, level 2 fieldwork is going to be very much you're going to have a lot more independence than I've had in other field works, where they're going to ask me what I would choose to do with a patient, or what my recommendations would be. So getting to actually put things into play, I think will be very exciting, and will be very telling on how ready I am for the boards exam. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little about your experience with financial aid and the process in terms of funding your education?
Sure. Financial aid is awesome. They are super helpful. I was very unfamiliar with financial aid going into grad school, but they were they hold your hand through the whole thing. So before I started, they offered a lot of webinars, maybe not a lot, I think maybe 2, but I did attend a webinar prior to starting. where I learned more about the FAFSA, about work study options, about what the process is going to look like when they're going to release financial aid documents and other things like that, like where I could go to find um, more loans if needed. So that was great. That was really helpful for someone who was very unfamiliar with the process. And then just continuing forward, they've been very responsive. They're always available via email. And yeah, they're always there to help. So if you have questions, definitely recommend reaching out to financial aid.
And can you talk a little bit about what you do outside of academics at Solace?
Sure. Yeah. I
Besides partying away. Just kidding.
um yeah, so I like to rock climb. There are a bunch of climbing gyms in the Philadelphia area. Shout out Philadelphia Rock Gyms. There's one right down the street from Salis, so that's kind of cool. Um, there's also a lot of parks. I like to hike, or just spend some time outside, maybe just do a nature walk. So there's a bunch of parks right near campus. Wissahickon is only like 15 minutes away, which is really cool. They have a lot of trails there, and they have like a river or creek run through it, so that's cool. And then I hang out with my roommates a lot. My roommates are actually in the program, and they are, well, two out of three of them are. I live with four girls. So three of us are all in the program, and we spend a lot of our time together with studying and carpooling and going to the gym together and hanging out on weekends. And yeah, and
That's,
there's,
go
sorry,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, do in Philly. Philly's a really great area. You got, first of all, the sports. If you are a sports fan, Philly's a great place to be. As long as you are a Philadelphia sports fan. If you're not, they won't welcome you here. Um, but yeah, no.
I am born and raised in Philadelphia, and I do not watch any sports. So I'm not a sports person at all. My family is. I am not allowed to watch any sports games because my mother and sister think I bring bad karma to our teams. So I'm only allowed to watch when they deem that it's safe for me to watch. So I was able to watch the last 5 minutes of the Super Bowl when we won the Super Bowl many years ago. So
Okay.
they think it's like a karma thing. They think that I'm bad luck, so I'm not allowed to watch anything because I'm not really interested in sports anyway. So I don't know how I ended up in my family, but I did. So on to Philadelphia. Do you have on-campus housing? Is it hard to find housing? What was your experience with it?
Yeah, so I am not from the area. I'm from Long Island. I actually don't know if I said that. I am from Long Island. So I did make the move here. So Salis was actually really great with this. So I had no idea where I wanted to live, what was available to me. Salis does not have any on-campus housing options. So that was a little intimidating at first, but they do have this great housing portal that you can refer to, where they link, or they reference different apartment buildings or complexes that people have lived in the past, students have lived in the past. And it can tell you like what people have paid in the past, how far it is from campus. So that was really great to refer to, because then I kind of had a feel for where people lived and stuff like that. But there are also a lot of great options right at campus. There are two definitely apartment complexes within walking distance to campus. So that's really cool if you don't have any transportation. But yeah, I would recommend going just to feel out where you can see yourself. If you need a little 10-minute commute to campus because you need to de-stress after a day, or you enjoy that walk, also just to see the buildings, I think is a good thing to do before moving in. But yeah.
Also, it's good to go in the morning and different times of day, like in the evening and in the morning. Sometimes things can look different from the morning and when you're getting off of work and it's dark out, like right now.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Is it already?
So, it, yeah, I don't wear my sunglasses when I leave work anymore. I'm wearing my regular glasses now. It's kind of sad with the hour going back. So can you have a job alongside studying in the OT program?
So I believe the official statement is no. They do not recommend getting a job. However, they do understand that we are all adults at this point, and some of us have bills to pay, and some of us are taking out loans and whatnot. Um, so although your first priority is school, I found it possible to have a job. I do currently have two jobs. I work for admissions as the graduate assistant, and then I also work in retail on the weekends. I found that works with my schedule. I've also become very good at time management just because of that. I'm someone who, if I have all the free time in the world, I won't study. But if I only have 8 hours on Wednesday and 8 hours on Saturday to study, I will study for those 8 hours. So I like more structure in my schedule. So if you're someone like that, having a job might be fine. I will say most people in the program have very flexible jobs. So jobs that they can be like, I have midterms this week, or I have finals, or this is just a crazy week because we have a group paper due, or something like that. Um, that's when it's easy to have a very flexible job, so you can be like, hey, I need off. So most people are like servers, retail, something like that, where you can prioritize school still. Babysitting is a big one too. So yeah, definitely possible. Just I don't know if I would recommend during your first semester though. I really think the first semester was a big adjustment for most people, because you don't know what the workload's going to be. You don't know what your study schedule is going to be. You don't even know what your daily schedule is going to be. So yeah, I would recommend maybe doing a bit of a transition before you commit to a job.
Do you do any participate in any clubs at Solace? Any other activities outside of your rock climbing, like Solace sponsored clubs outside of academia?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I am in SOTA, which is the Student Occupational Therapy Association, um, which is yeah, we don't meet too much, but they have great events and they have great fundraising, which is cool. I think like most schools have a soda, and most OT students are a part of it because it's very easy to be a part of it, and it's a great resume builder. It's a great way also to network in the community. Um, so that's run through the school. I'm also a part of PTE, which is Pi Theta Epsilon, which is the OT Honor Society, which they ask you to be a part of after your first year. So that's kind of recent. I have also tried to get into, not that this is official, but I think they are starting an intramural sports for pickleball. And my friend and I have been playing a lot during lunch. So not that that's an official thing, but they do have intramurals at school. So they have volleyball and basketball right now. And I am really pushing for pickleball to get started. So that's kind of what I'm involved in a bit, but they do have a lot of other options. They have things like, I know they have American Sign Language Club. They have walking club. Tara, do you know anymore? I know they
They
have.
have you know, LGBTQ Salam Salam, which is our Muslim club. There's a Christian club, Black Fellowship Club. I know the intramural sports. We used to have a lot of them before. My cats are going crazy all of a sudden. So sorry if you hear them meowing at me. But yeah, we have all these kinds of clubs that the sports clubs were there before, and then they kind of fell apart during the pandemic. So now they're slowly coming back. But pickleball would be nice because they actually had a pickleball tournament over the summer with the senior complex that's behind us. So speaking of the Hafner Center, do you use any part of the facility at all?
Yeah, I'm in the Hafner Center every day. Or every day I'm on campus. So they have a great gym. It is a full gym. So basically, like I would say almost any kind of piece of equipment that you're looking for, they'll have there, which is really great. I actually started school having a gym membership separately. Because I thought, like, when I walked in the gym, I initially was like, oh, is it small? Like, am I going to be able to find, like, is equipment going to be open? Things like that. There's never a time when it's too busy. Like you'll always be able to find, you'll always be able to have space. You'll always be able to use the equipment that you need. So that's really great. They also have classes that they offer at the Hafner Center. I have taken a few of them. I've taken their cardio kickboxing, which kicked my butt. That was a very hard class, but it was really great. And then they have other things. They have like glutes and abs. They have yoga. I think we just got a spin instructor. I
Very
think you told me
about that.
Yeah.
I
They have.
used to spin a while ago.
Oh, did you? Okay, now we're getting back into it.
I'm gonna try. We'll see if I can do it. I haven't done it in a couple of years.
Um, yeah, so they have that, and that's all taught by, all those classes are taught by personal trainers. They have a training staff that you can actually use just in the regular gym. You can get one free session, and then following that free session, if you wanted to continue, you could pay for like a membership with them. They also teach those courses, like I said. They're also just great for just asking general questions. Like they always check in with me when I check in, and they're always like, what are you working on today? And like if I say back or something, they'll be like, okay, so this is what you're gonna do, and they'll give me like a quick little like rundown of like an exercise that I could do. So that's really cool, that's really helpful. And then the last thing about the Hafner Center that I'll say is, actually not the last thing, I have two more things to say. One, there is a track, which is really cool. I love that there's an indoor track. That's really great for winter, going to during lunch times or just after class, before class. I love that place. They also have the gymnasium, which is where you can play pickleball, volleyball, basketball, any kind of thing like that. You can just ask them to set it up, and they'll set it up for you whenever you need it. And then there's also just the student lounge, which is kind of a hidden gem on campus, just because it is a little separate from class, the building with the classrooms. But you know, there's what is there in there? There's ping pong in there. There's foosball. There's a TV. There's couches. There's a study room. There's kitchen. It's really a great place to hang out. What is it? Pool table. Yeah.
It will be coming back, because right now it's we're in the process of updating our cafeteria. So hopefully that will be opening soon. And our port cafeteria staff has been housed and bunkered down in our student lounge right now, giving us food since we were supposed to have it done by October, but as most construction companies, doesn't really come in on time. So we're going to wrap things up here. I don't see any more questions from anybody. So my last question to you is, if you were to describe Solace in one word, what would it be? I know, I got all these questions.
Did you send me these before? No, I'm kidding.
I did send them.
Should have prepared this one.
I do kind of go with the flow and add some more in there.
Yeah. If I could describe it in one word, I
could start if you don't, or if you don't have
yours. If you have
I would
one.
say my word is community, because I've worked at bigger universities where you know, you don't get to know the full experience of admissions staff. Usually once admissions, if you work in admissions at a big university, that's when it stops, when you guys are on campus. But I've gotten to know you, you know, when I first started, you did your tour, and I had my first tour with you, observing the tour.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to go through this whole entire process of watching you become a student, getting into your field work, watching you blossom and become, you know, more experienced with OT. So I think in community, in terms of us all kind of being, I mean, word travels fast at a small university, but you get to know everybody university and kind of see the full progression of what's going with the students from the beginning to graduation.
Yeah, definitely. That is so funny. Community was totally a word I was thinking of, but I do. No way. I'm thinking like supportive.
Okay.
I feel very supported by my peers. I feel very supported by my professors. Those I have had in the past, and those I currently have, and those I haven't even had, but I've met a couple times, just because you meet all the professors. They all know you. They want to help you. Same with your peers, of course. And then I feel like I can say that though about like the entire university staff, like from the security guards at the front who always just make sure you're having a good day, or like admissions who just wants to make sure everyone succeeds through the programs, and LRC, and yeah, just everything. The trainers at the Hafner, like everyone is just very supportive of what you're doing and you're studying, and want to see you grow and be successful.
Well, Fiona and I would like to thank you, Marissa, for coming out and joining us this evening to do a little bit of a OT Q&A. I probably will not be doing this on the floor again anytime soon, but I didn't want to sit in my desk tonight. But it's always good to see a little bit of an animal action in any kind of video, I think. So
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out and chatting with me. I will talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Bye all.
Bye.